Hi! In this video series, to have done something. To have done something. Let's see some examples of this in action in English. We have been friends for over 20 years. She has worked here since 1999. I have been saving money to go to college. He has just left. We have finished studying for the test. Now we are going to see how we can express the same thing in Spanish. I have done something. In this case, have is not translated as tener because it's in direct contact with a verb. In Spanish, this is expressed by using the verb haber. Yo he caminado. He is the present form conjugation of the verb haber. Now, ado, the ending ado, this is the past participle. There is a specific video on this, but in short, AR verbs will drop the AR and will add ado. ER-IR verbs will drop the ER or IR and will add ido, IDO. You have walked, tú has caminado. You have lived, he or she has lived. Usted, él, ella ha vivido. In this case, the ending ido because vivir is an IR verb, and as we said before, for IR verbs we drop the IR and we add ido. We have lived. Nosotros hemos vivido. You have eaten. Vosotros habéis comido. This is the form used in Spain. Comer is an ER verb, so these type of verbs, ER verbs, drop the ER and they also add ido. You have eaten, they have eaten, this is the plural you. Ustedes o ellos han comido. So as we said before, AR verbs will drop the AR and will add ado. ER-IR verbs will drop the infinitive ending and will add ido. This is the past participle and there is a specific video on this in the grammar area. But the important thing to remember here is that anytime we have I have done something, walked, lived, eaten, or well, just any verb, if the Spanish verb ends in AR, we'll add ado. If it finishes in ER-IR, we'll add ido. And have is not translated as tener because after all we are not talking about possession, it's actually the verb haber. So it's very important to remember these different conjugations. Yo he, tú has, usted, él, ella ha, nosotros hemos, vosotros habéis, if you are interested in the Spanish from Spain, ustedes o ellos han. For instance, we have been friends for 20 years. Hemos sido amigos desde hace 20 años. Or we can also say, hemos sido amigos por 20 años. When in English we say for and a period of time, we use desde hace or just hace and then the duration. Another way of expressing the same is by using the preposition por plus the duration. Desde hace 20 años o por 20 años. Another example. I have been a teacher for a long time. He sido maestro desde hace mucho. Or, he sido maestro por mucho tiempo. We could also add the word tiempo here, but it's not really necessary. Again, we have for plus duration, so in Spanish we can say desde hace or just hace, and then the duration, or we can also use the word por plus the duration. Another example, she has worked here since 1999. Ella ha trabajado aquí desde 1999. We can see that when we use the word since, in Spanish we use desde plus the date. I have lived here since March. He vivido aquí desde marzo. So since is translated as desde. Something important here, for plus duration is translated as desde hace plus the duration or just hace plus the duration, as we can see in all of these examples. We can also use por plus the duration. Since plus a date in Spanish is translated as desde plus the date. Now some word of caution. This type of structure is very popular among Spanish learners simply because it's very easy to produce and it's very similar to the English. In Spanish, this type of structure is not really common. You will find it more often in writing, but in day-to-day conversations, people tend to avoid this structure. In general, it's not used. Probably it's used about 5% of the time. In future videos, we're going to learn some other structures that are more common in day-to-day conversation. However, it's important to know this. It's a structure in the Spanish language, and, well, almost immediately, it can enable you to express this type of ideas. We have been friends, I've been a teacher, she has worked. So having said all this, we are ready to do some practice.